Well, thankfully, our diaries have actually worked well this week, Riley. So we'll actually be able to do some videos together, and we're actually able to do a preview of this. And also, we're going to get to do a video also for tomorrow, some news about the club and a few things that are going on. But I will say, mate, I'm a little bit annoyed in that sense that I'm still recording with you because it appears you have given me your cold, even though we're not in the same room. Because I've woken up and I don't know. Head cold definitely kicking in. Right,
a very, very bold shout. I mean, you were. I think, to be honest, it's the karma. I mean, you were literally in the last video. Well, I don't want to say flexing, but you were kind of being a little bit like, I've got a cold.
I was pointing
I
and
don't
laughing
normally
at
get
you.
colds.
Yeah.
And I think, karma just had its way of sneaking into your bedroom at night and
Yeah,
you actually cold, mate. I'm afraid that's how it works.
Sneaking in my room at night. Well, you know what I mean? That'd be the only thing that was then, mate. Do you know what I mean? Right. So Liverpool West Ham, Carabao Cup quarter final, big game for West Ham, and it's one that you'd hope that Liverpool possibly might see it as a bit of a hindrance, maybe with their seasons away it's going and the games they've got coming up. But we'll talk about that in a minute. Riley, let's first of all talk about Liverpool. Let's talk about it as we do before we go on to West Ham team news. Riley, what are your thoughts on Liverpool and how their season's been so far?
I think they've been. To be honest, I don't think they've been good enough to be where they are on the table from the games I've seen from them. I think they're a brilliant side and they've got some amazing players in there. But there've been a few games I've watched from Liverpool this season, and if you kind of said showed me those snippets of games and said, where do you think Liverpool will be? I'd say, they're probably maybe 5th or 4th at the moment. But obviously, they're right up there with Arsenal. They're on more points than City. I believe they're on only 1 point behind Arsenal at the top of the table. So they're doing incredibly well at the moment. And fair play to Klopp. I think the signings that he bought in the summer, McAllister's been brilliant. Slobberschlei, however you pronounce that name, has been brilliant as well. Luis Diaz is getting back to his best. It's an injury. I think Nunes as well he's still very erratic, and I think he needs to be a lot more clinical and driven when it comes to shooting. He just needs to sort of take that moment to compose himself and just unleash it with a bit of power. But he looks a dangerous striker, and they've been able to keep hold of Salah as well. And when Trent's doing his thing, it's very difficult to stop him. I think they've kind of worked out a way of being able to cover him at the back and still be able to let him go forward and do his thing. So, I've been impressed by Liverpool. I think Liverpool have always been a very, very dangerous team under Klopp. They've got a new midfield. The front three sort of stayed the same. They haven't got as many injuries, I don't think, this season as they were having last season. And of course, Alisson just amazes me every single game as to how good he actually is. He just flies under the radar, doesn't he, all the time? But I've been impressed with Liverpool so far, mate, and they're going to be very, very tough opponents. But as we know, Klopp absolutely hates the fixture congestions. And like you said earlier, this might be a bit of a hindrance to him. And you look at some of the players that Liverpool have on the bench, you sort of think that, a lot of them aren't really a good swap for who they have on the pitch. They haven't got brilliant squad depth. So, what do you reckon, mate?
I mean, I've been impressed with them this season. I think they're well in the title race. I'd like them to win it. I'll be honest. Either them or Man City for me, or Villa, but I don't think Villa will. But I mean, I don't want Arsenal winning the league at all.
Why ever not?
Oh, do you know what I mean? I just don't want to see it. I know it sounds, I don't want to sound bitter, but I just not this season. Don't want to see Rice lifting the Premier League trophy 1 year after leaving us. I don't think that would be very nice. Look, if it happens, it happens. But I think Liverpool are well in the title race. I really do. I think they could push them right all the way. I think that, and they had a bit of a funny season last season. Big transition. They lost a few players. They've had another big summer this season. This last summer, where they've lost a few players, a little bit of transition, a few bits of players coming in and out. Obviously, got McAllister going in. You had Henderson leave. But they seem, I don't know, there's something about Liverpool this season. They got their sort of swagger back. They're not quite there yet. I don't think they're quite hitting that height when they won the league, where they were just rampant. But you get the feeling like it could happen soon. Like they might get into that rhythm where they're going to start becoming very ruthless and just getting results home and away consistently. Yeah. So I mean, it's a really strange.
Is the quality of the league this year worse than it was last year? or is it
No.
better? It's got more competitive teams. Do you think?
Yeah, I think it's more competitive. I think it's the best it's ever been. I think like for instance, like even look at West Ham. I mean, we're eighth in the league, and you think we're on close to 30 points at this stage of the season, and we usually I would imagine we'd be higher than that. Usually, it does feel like it's a tougher league this year. I mean, look at the title race. I think you're looking realistically 3 teams. I don't think Villa will do the distance. I don't think they will. I'd love them to. It'd be great because it always gives clubs like us a bit of a hope. You think, well, we could maybe do that one season. You never know. But my gut tells me that there'll probably injuries eventually catch up with them, and a few things niggles will start kicking in, and that's the difference between these sort of big powerhouse sides and then the sort of the teams like us slightly behind. Like if we lost Kudus and Bowen, that would be us gone. Do you know what I mean? Our momentum would shift significantly. Whereas you look at other teams, they've just got that added depth, and I don't know. I look at Liverpool and I just think they've had a funny old summer. They lost out on a few players, didn't they? They lost out on Jude Bellingham. I know they were I think they had their hopes pinned on that he was going to sign, and that never happened. They had Casiado, didn't they? Went to Chelsea. They had a few players. Who was the Southampton guy? Was it
Lavia as well?
Lavia went to Chelsea, and so they had a few plans that went skew with them. But I think they've responded really well. Actually, they've looked really, really good. I'm actually really impressed with them. I think Klopp's doing a great job there, as he always is. I do get the feeling they are going to push this season. I think, though, that all that being said, could prove a real advantage to West Ham, actually, for this game. I really hope it does. I'm maybe clutching at straws a little bit. But obviously, we had the result on Sunday, which was Liverpool drawing with Manchester United. Everyone was expecting Liverpool to win that game. West Ham fans are certainly, we're all hoping they would because it would keep Man United below us. But I'm actually thinking maybe they've done us a bit of a favour because Liverpool now really have to get a result the next game, and they've got Arsenal, so they will see this as a really big game. They go there and win at Arsenal, then they are suddenly going to look the favourites to win the league. So Klopp's going to be under no illusions of thinking this is one of our games of the season. Like if we go and get a result there, then the momentum will be with Liverpool. So I'm wondering whether this game is on Wednesday night of West Ham is a total hindrance, and they're probably thinking we could just so do without this. It's not really. It's a League Cup. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not knocking the League Cup. Let's be honest, mate. We would bloody love to lift it. But Liverpool, is it something they're desperate to lift? Are they going to break their backs to do it? I don't think so. I think they've got bigger fish to fry. They want to win the Europa League. They're favourites to win that. Obviously, we want to try and win that as well. But I don't know. And obviously, the Premier League has got to be their main priorities. I just don't think the League Cup will be the priority. So I'm hoping that Liverpool are going to take this with a little bit of a pinch of salt and say, well, look, we're going to rest a few of our players for the Arsenal game, and it'll play into our hands. Another person I want to talk to you about, though, was Mo Salah. I mean, likely to be his last season by the looks of it. It seems to be strongly rumoured he will go Saudi at the end of it. They're going to come in for another big money offer, which I think possibly the right time for his career to go and do this move. But bloody hell, mate, for his age of how long he's been doing it for Liverpool, he is still banging in the goals and still an amazing player, isn't he?
Yeah, he's one of those game changers, isn't he? He's one of those players that, let's say they did rest him. He's one of those players you're just kind of begging for him not to be able to come on the pitch. He's a very interesting player as well. He's kind of like he kind of brought in this new look of the inside forward in the Premier League, especially. You look at, obviously I'm not making the comparison, but you look at the style of play that Bowen has, where he kind of drifts wide and then comes inside. That's the sort of thing that Mo Salah brought to the Premier League. He was a trailblazer. He brought that to the Premier League. I can't think of many people who've done it as well as Mo Salah have done it in the Premier League, being that inside forward. His numbers are crazy. The fact he's been able to, get those numbers in Liverpool teams that have done well, Liverpool teams that haven't done well. And like you say, he's getting old now, old for a footballer, I suppose. He's like 31 years of age. And I still think clubs will pay top money for him. So, I think he's been brilliant for Liverpool. But, I love about Liverpool, mate. What about West Ham? I think we're in a good stead. I think we're doing pretty well at the moment. What do you make of our squad at the moment and our chances of getting a result in this one?
I think we've got a really good chance. I'm going in. I'm confident, Riley. I'm going to be honest with you. I wasn't. I've had a shift in the last day or so. I wasn't really confident. As Liverpool away. Let's be honest. West Ham and Anfield don't mix very well. We've not got a result there very often. Remember, we won 3-0 there back in 2015, I think it was, something like that. So that was a big win. But since then, we've done nothing really there. We just struggle as a ground. We really do struggle to get a result at. And we always have over the years. So automatically, my mind always goes, when I always think of Liverpool away, I just think we're going to lose the game. Whether it be a cup game, league game, we just won't get a result there. We might grind out a point or something, whatever, if it be a league game. I don't know. I've just got a bit of a feeling about it now, because I just think that this is a really good opportunity. Like we've been saying, not to repeat ourselves, but because of their other commitments with Arsenal, I think this is just that could really play into our hands nicely. And let's be honest, mate, we're in really good form at the moment. We've just come off the back of a 3-0 win against Wolves, and that followed a 2-0 win at home against Freiburg. So we've got 2 clean sheets. I just can imagine if you're West Ham, you're going into this game feeling really confident, thinking we could go and do something here. And mate, we've got Mohamed Kudus, who's dare I say it's probably above the likes of Salah at the moment in terms of what he can possibly be. Not knocking Mo Salah, because he's amazing, but I'm just saying he's that level. Do you know what I mean? We've literally got our own Mo Salah in the team. We've got someone you can literally give the ball to, and he might be able to score from anywhere in the pitch. He can, not saying he can shoot from anyone on the pitch, but he can run through players and score goals. And we've got Paquette, in tantalising form, wasn't he, on Sunday against Wolves. I just think I'm confident. I am. I'm going into this game now with a bit of swagger. I'm thinking, do you know what? I think we might be able to get something out of this. I do think we might be able to get a result. But that being said, even if it's Liverpool's second string team, which I imagine it probably will be a little bit, it's still going to be a tough game. It's not going to be. We're not going to stroll through it. I think it's going to be hard. But this team's starting to click, mate, and I get the feeling if we're on form, Riley, I'm starting to get a feeling with West Ham now. If we play as best as we can do, we're probably capable of beating anyone in the Premier League. Realistically, we could probably beat a Man City and an Arsenal and Liverpool. We probably can do it on our day if we're really good. And this might have to be that sort of occasion. We're going to have to play really well to win this game. But but there's no reason to suggest that we won't. It's a big opportunity for us. And as before we started recording, Riley, we were talking, weren't we, about the actual competition itself, the League Cup. You've got Chelsea and Newcastle playing each other. And then I haven't got the teams to hand, but I mean, you look at
Middlesbrough, Port Vale is the other one. And then Fulham are playing Everton. So, I mean, Everton are in good stead, but they'll be focusing on, they've got 10-point production. Fulham, I think, will put, obviously, all their eggs in this basket. You'd happily take Middlesbrough or Port Vale. And I think, once Chelsea and Newcastle, but I mean, obviously, we have the toughest team in the competition because that's just how it works for us, isn't it? We never get a chance of anything sort of decent draw. It's annoying though, isn't it? Because you'd fancy our chances a lot more against a Chelsea or a Newcastle, especially with their injuries and maybe not at St James's Park, but I think you definitely fancy us a little bit more. But away as well, away at Anfield. I mean, that's probably the toughest draw you can get in a competition at the moment. But we say it's a hindrance for Liverpool. Do you think Moyes is going to go full strength? Do you think he's going to recognise that this is a big opportunity for us to get a decent run at silverware, or do you think he's going to try and go a little bit more second string and go more for the league?
No, I think he'll have to go for it, mate. I think he has to, doesn't he? Really? I mean, because I think had we been in a relegation battle like last season, I think he probably would have taken the foot off the gas a little bit, because it's just not the priority. Been like, we've just got to stay in the Premier League. Like, we can't risk any injuries and etc. etc. But I think relegation is not even a thought in our minds at all, and it won't be. West Ham are no chance of getting relegated this season. So I don't think we need to worry about that. And realistically, are we going to win the Europa League? That's going to be really tough this year, because obviously you've got Liverpool in it. Liverpool are favourites. You've got some big teams that are coming down now, likely to go into the competition after the playoff round as well. It's going to be a real tall order to win the Europa League. Let's be honest. I'm not saying we can't. I believe we can win it, but it's going to be bloody hard to do so. Whereas this is probably a bit more realistic. Like, realistically, if Liverpool field a weakened team, we can beat them. And I genuinely believe if we beat Liverpool, we are going to be, us and another, going to be the two favourites. So if Chelsea win, we'll be level with them, or with Newcastle. Newcastle, as we know, mate, they've just got a horrendous injury situation going on at the moment. They've lost, I think, 10 players, and they're not just minor knocks. A few of their players are going to be out for a period. We're talking months. So I can see them struggling.
The tough thing for us though is that we've got. I think we've got 4 games in 13 days. Yeah, which is it's a lot, and those games are Liverpool, Man United, Arsenal, Brighton, which is bar maybe like a Man City, that's probably like the toughest run of games we can get. I mean, I know we just ended the curse against Brighton, but we all know that, it could potentially come back to bite us. Arsenal, of course, are, top of the league. United, I think they do turn up against some teams. I wouldn't be surprised if we're one of them. So it is Moyes going to look at that big fixture congestion over the next 2 weeks or so and think that, maybe we just need to do a bit of rotation, rest players like Paqueta, Bowen. Can you afford to lose Jarrod Bowen again through injury because you're playing him too much over the next 2 weeks? Sorry.
I mean, I totally hear what you're saying, because I think the Man United game on Saturday is a big game, of course. Like we really, that's a big game, because obviously we're 1 point behind them, so we can leapfrog Manchester United. And to be honest with you, I think we will. Like, I've got a feeling we'll beat Man United. Like, if we play like we have been, I've just got this good feeling about that game. So that is a big game. So I think that will be in his mindset. The Arsenal game, I'm not so sure. Like, because I'm not saying I want West. Obviously, I really want to go to West Arsenal and cause an upset. Of course, I'd love that. But probably, if you're a manager at the beginning of the season and you start mapping out what games you realistically are focusing on, is Arsenal away a game you really look at and go, that's a game we've got to go and win? Probably not. You probably don't give it realistically. You probably think it's going to be unlikely we get anything there, but it's going to be hard. But we'll try and do something. I don't know. I just think that it's such a good opportunity, and I'd be really disappointed, mate. If Moyes does rest players, like does a big rotation this game, I'd be really upset, but he has done that before. He has done that. I think it was Arsenal away we had a couple of seasons ago. I think we got to the quarterfinals. Might have even been this competition, and we did the same. They rested a load of key players, and we did the same. We rested our whole team, and they beat us. And you just think, well, why didn't we just put our team out? We'd have probably won the game. So I really hope he's learned his lesson. But the fact we've just won a trophy, and I'm sure that he'll want another one. I'm sure he's got that taste for it now. I really do hope that he does give it his all and put the first team out. But it's hard to say, isn't it? Like you do raise a good point. Is he looking at Man United on Saturday thinking that's the game? We've got to win that. But I don't know. I think he'll go strong, mate. I think he will go pretty strong for this game. Albeit maybe the odd one player rested, or one or two, maybe, possibly. And if they are rested, I'd have them on the bench. Do you know what I mean? If you're going to rest Bowen, or you're going to rest an Alvarez or whatever, I'd say, right, yeah, but you're on the bench. I mean, ideally, I'd rather him start with the team and then with a view of going ahead and then do the rotation after. I'd rather than do it the other way around. But
yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it's going to be very interesting, mate. It's a big game. Right, as we usually do, matey, we do our predictions. So to everyone watching, just send in your team, what you think it's going to be, or what you'd like to see, and also your prediction. If you get it right, then you go into a draw, and then you will send you something from our shop. So let's go, Riley. Who are you having in goal then, mate?
Well, it's difficult, isn't it? Because I want Areola to regain his place in the first team, but I think that Fabianski deserves to be the cup keeper. So I'd play Fabianski today and then play Areola. And to be honest, I don't think there's much in it, really. It's more the vision of the club. I think that Areola needs to start because he's next season, he should be starting for West Ham. Fabianski's 38 years old now. Like, it's really getting up there. Like, one bad injury could probably end his career. So I think it's getting to that point now where we need to start trusting Areola and having the new look side. But Fabianski, I think, probably the veteran keeper. I stick with the same back four we've seen: Zuma, Aged, Emerson, and Soufal. What about you? What's your defence looking like?
Fabianski in goal for me. I just really impressed him at the moment. Like, he's been excellent. I'm going to go out and say it, mate. I think he's the number one goalkeeper for me at the moment. I'd actually drop Areola now. Not Areola's done a lot wrong. He hasn't really. I'm just preferring Fabianski at the moment. I just think he's performing really well. I like the way he commands his box. I think we just seem a little bit more organised at the back. I think he talks better to the defence. I watched it against Wolves. He's just the way he comes and collects the ball, the way he's out first crosses. He's getting that ball. Areola don't really do that. Do you know what I mean? He's not got that way about him. He's a very good shot stopper, very, very talented goalkeeper. But I wonder about his communication sometimes and his kind of desire to get the ball sometimes and go, right, I'm going to break my neck to get that ball. So anyway, at the moment, that's how I'm feeling. I think Fabianski's kind of earned his right at the moment. I don't know, this is a cup game, which I'm kind of contradicting myself, because you did say, well, your number two would be in goal then. But I really want to win this game. So if I was West Ham manager, I'd be putting Fabianski in. And to be honest, I'm just saying to Areola, look, you have to just wait for your chance now. Like, I want to keep Fabianski in goal at the moment. So Fabianski for me. My back line is Soufal right back. Mavropanos for me. Actually, I'm going to drop Zuma, a Gerd and Emerson. The reason I'm dropping Zuma because he's just played a game and he's just too injury prone. I think he needs a rest. He can't play, Sunday and Wednesday. He'll be broken. So I think he's got to be rested. He'd be one of my players, like we talked about earlier. Moyes resting some players. Zuma has to be rested because he'll be in bits by Man United game. Otherwise, we need him rested for the Man United game for me. So yeah, that's what I'm thinking. And I quite like Mavropanos. I like this Mavropanos Gerds relationship. It seems that there's something there. I think there could be a good pairing. So I would have no problem seeing Mavropanos play. Midfield, mate. Who are you going for? I take it we're doing the same, like the three. You're doing the two defensive midfielder partnered by somebody else, and then someone forward. Is that what you're thinking?
Well, do you know what, mate? I really want to try and get Maxwell Cornet in this team or Mubama. To be honest with you, I really do. I think that we can afford to rest one or two key players because I think that Klopp will go very rotational heavy. I don't think players like Salah are going to start. I think Diaz probably gets rested. Trent as well. Klopp's very much the type of manager that would roll the kids out and be happy with that if they lost. He's that sort of manager. Yeah. So I'd really love to be able to get maybe like a Cornet in there. Someone who's very direct. Mubama as well, I think maybe deserves it as long as Danny Ings is nowhere near the team. So I wonder in myself if Souček is a waste in this game. They're going to have three in midfield. We're going to need to be quick on the transition. We're going to need to be strong in the midfield. We can't afford to give sloppy passes away in that midfield.
Yeah.
Is Souček going to be a bit of a waste here? Is he going to be able to do what he's been doing in the last couple of games? And for me, I don't think so. So I would probably go for Alvarez and then Ward-Prowse and Paqueta and then go for a different look front three. I just think Souček is a little bit of a liability in this game.
Yeah.
I don't think he's going to be able to get that free man at the back post. And you know what? If we're losing, we can always chuck him on and go for that more attacking-minded sort of. I think that's a very balanced midfield. You've got Ward-Prowse running up and down, Alvarez holding, and Paqueta kind of just dropping in the spaces and running the show.
Yeah. Do you know what, mate? Well, you've kind of sold me, actually. I'm going to stick with what I've put anyway, obviously, but you've convinced me a little bit there. I think in terms of your rotate, I quite had the idea of having Paqueta in the middle. I haven't gone for that. I've actually gone for pretty much exactly what we've been playing the last few games, the kind of standard. So I've gone for Alvarez, Souček as a kind of midfield. Alvarez playing defensive midfield, Souček next to him, and Ward-Prowse playing a little bit more advanced, sort of playing behind the front three. But I actually do think you got a good point. And I do think that because at the end of the day, like we do, as you say, we have got a big game coming up as well on the Saturday. So we do need to have some fresh legs for it. And you do look at the likes of Souček. Would he benefit from having a bit of a rest? Possibly. We can't obviously afford to rest Alvarez. He's just too important. I think our team just looks so different when he's not in it. So I would definitely have to start Alvarez, and Ward-Prowse seems to be in good form again, doesn't he? And he's enjoying that advanced role. But no, I do agree. I'm kind of leaning towards what you've actually said on that one. Your front three, though. So what are we saying? Are you going to go full pelt for this? Is Kudus Bowen, or what are you thinking?
Kudus and Bowen have to start, absolutely. And obviously, if by some miracle we do end up getting ahead, then fair play. We can sub them off. But I think I'd personally go Cornet, Bowen, and Kudus. I think that's got the sort of if we're going to play counter-attacking football, which I think we have to, you've got to direct players there like Kudus and Cornet. I think if Cornet's not doing very well, how easy is it to put Paqueta at the left wing and then sub Souček on? It's a very easy fix. I just think that he deserves a bit of an opportunity. He's a very direct player, and I think why not? Maybe rest at least one key player. I mean, resting Souček, I don't think is the worst thing in the world. And if it goes wrong, it's a very, very easy fix. So that's probably what I'd go for. But I'm tempted to almost put Mubama at left wing because I feel like that's a position that he could probably take up. He's good at running in behind. He's, again, a very direct player. He drops in the spaces very well. But I don't think it's a position he's necessarily played very often. So being the out-and-out winger, I'd probably have to go for Cornet. And I think Benrahma and Fornals are just not really in it for me at the moment.
No, I agree with you, especially regarding 4-0s. I mean, to be fair, he came on, didn't he, against Wolves again? So there's obviously some kind of still a bit of trust there from Moyes with regards to 4-0s. I think he does like the guy. I think he likes him and wants him playing, but he's just struggling to get in the team, and he's just out of form, isn't he, at the moment? 4-0s. It's hard to get in form when you're not playing. That's the problem. So, and the problem is they're giving you an opportunity, but it's so hard then if you're given 10 minutes, what can you do in 10 minutes? You know what I mean? It's so difficult to then impress everybody. So it is hard. But my front three, I've actually just gone standard, mate. I've gone Kudus on the right. I've got Paqueta playing on the left and then Bowen through the middle. I definitely think this is a game where our new look front three, which effectively we talked about recently, didn't we? About it's kind of like it mirrors what Liverpool did. Like you said, they kind of changed the model of strikers. They sort of said that, well, we're actually having 3 midfielders, effectively 2 wingers and a midfielder, and that's our front three. And West Ham are kind of doing the same. I've gone for that again. I think against the likes of Liverpool, this will suit us because the only way that system doesn't work for us is when the teams defend. When the team sits back and plays the low block, that's when we really struggle, I think, to break him down. That's where Bowen becomes a little bit ineffective because he hasn't got the height and muscle to then go, right, just put the ball over the top, I'm going to go and win it. He'll struggle. But I think Liverpool don't. Well, they're certainly not going to play that way against West Ham, and they're certainly not going to play that way against West Ham at home. So they're going to go and play attacking and play a high line. And we saw against Wolves that suits us to the T. It's like, yeah, go on, lovely jubbly, you come and attack us, and we're going to break. And as long as we break well, we can score goals. And I think that's what we will try and do. But no, mate, I do like your team, actually. I do think we've got, obviously, for everyone watching, obviously put your teams forward because there's a few debates in this one, how we're going to set up. I mean, like you say, you mentioned Mabama there. I mean, of course, I want to see Mabama play. I just really want us to win this game, though. I really don't want it to be treated as go on, give it a go. It doesn't really matter too much. I think this game does really matter because winning this one, mate, we could be favourites to win this. And you think, bloody hell, we could be West Ham win another trophy. Do you know what I mean? Be amazing, be absolutely amazing. So, look, you never know. But then, mate, it's time for the score prediction, and it's not an easy one. This one because you've got to kind of go with your brain and not your heart. So it was a bit of a balance. But what are you thinking for this one, mate? What's your thoughts?
I don't know, mate. I feel like you're a kid at Christmas, and I'm about to take all the presents off the tree. You know, I feel really bad, but to be honest with you, I think it's a very, very tough game. Finch the Grinch is probably what I'll be called now. But I can only see a Liverpool win, and I think it's going to be 2-1. I really do. I think that we'll turn up and we'll probably even nick the first goal. But I think that the trend when we play Liverpool, in my eyes, is we tend to score the first goal and then we give away a penalty and then we lose the game ultimately. That's kind of how the Anfield script goes in my head the last couple of times we've been there. And I think that, the crowd will be up for it. And, even if you do roll out the kids, there's players like Harvey Elliott in there, that can do a lot of damage. So, again, I don't want to burst anyone's bubbles and I don't want to be the Grinch at Christmas, but I think that we'll probably just lose out on this one. But I think we'll give it a good go, and I don't think we'll be a bad performance by any means. But are you about to tell me that I'm completely wrong and that that West Ham are going to batter Liverpool?
Yeah, I do. I think West Ham are going to win. And you are the Grinch. No, I do. I've been thinking about it. I'm probably going leaning more with my heart. I'm going to be honest. My head's probably telling me, I'm not sure about that. Like, this is Liverpool way, but it's just, I think it depends on the lineup, doesn't it? Like, if Liverpool go soft, which I think they probably will, they think they're going to rest, like you say. I can't see the likes of Trent, Salah, and a few players. I think they're going to be. I think they'll be on the bench. I don't think he'll be completely dry. I think he'll think, well, let's give the other team a go. If we need them, we'll bring them on. So that's still also a concern. But if Moyes goes for it, which I suspect he will, I think he will go strong for this game. I think he'll play his strongest team, to be honest. I think he has to. If he wants to win this tournament, you're going to have to do it at Liverpool. Got no choice. I think West Ham will win it, mate. I've just got this feeling we're going to win. So I think we're going to win. I've wrote them down on my little pad here. 2-1 West Ham. I think we're going to win the game. If it's going to be hard, it won't be easy, but I've got a feeling I think we're in too good a form at the moment, and I just think that front three with Liverpool playing a high line, attacking us, and I've got a feeling, mate. I've got a feeling we can go there and get a result. I mean, Man United went there and drew, and Man United are bloody awful at the moment. They're up and down all over the shop. So, I'm confident, mate. I've got a feeling, but obviously, we'd like to know what you guys think as well. Get your predictions in. Obviously, if you get it right, you go into the ballot, and then we'll get you whoever wins that then gets a gift from our shop. Mate, it's a big game, big game for us. Good opportunity, I think, for West Ham. You know, and as I said, I think if West Ham can win this, we'll suddenly be one of the favourites. And let's keep our fingers crossed and our toes that this might be this good form might be carrying on for a little while longer.